So I decided to build a rather large family home. I would say it's a mansion even, which, it's quite different because I usually only build small houses because they're easier. But I'm kind of trying to branch out a little bit more and try different things. I don't really want to build the same thing over and over, so yeah, I think it turned out okay. To be honest, I'm quite happy with it actually. I know it's not the best, because I do watch a lot of, I don't know if I've mentioned before, but I have a lot of free time at the moment. So I do watch quite a lot of YouTubers, and I've seen the kind of builds that other people do on The Sims, and they are, some of them are just amazing. So I know that, mine aren't anywhere near as good, but for my standards, I am actually pretty happy with how this turned out. And I mean, it's kind of the house, I kind of accidentally ended up making my dream house. I didn't even really think about it, but when I looked at it when it was finished, I kind of thought, I would love to live in a house like that. And not just because it's big, but I just think the overall style is very, I don't know, it's my style of house. I feel like, to me anyway, it looks like it has a little bit of character. Maybe it just looks a bit boring to everyone else, but yeah, I think it looks quite nice. But I won't really talk too much about the house because, you can see what I'm doing anyway, so what would be the point? But I kind of wish I could be able to just talk about, what I've been up to, but the truth is I haven't really been up to a lot. I just kind of watch TV all day. I could talk about Love Island for hours, but that might be a bit boring. I am quite excited though, because a couple of our friends are coming over to visit. We had my husband's parents came to visit us about a month ago, and we did some pretty fun stuff. We went to this medieval dining experience, which was pretty good. The vegetarian food was supreme, really enjoyed it. And we also went to this I don't know how to describe it. It was quite a unique place. It wasn't like a movie set or anything, but it was, what's it called? We went to Fort Worth, the Fort Worth Stockyards, which is like this, it's just a normal street with normal shops and stuff, but it's kind of styled in an old, kind of like an old Western movie. And they just have for example, we were walking round and we had walked past some saloon bars, and we had a drink in there. And there are also shops where you could go and buy cowboy boots and cowboy hats. And there were these actors as well wandering around, and they just randomly started having a pretend fight with each other and had a shootout. So I think it's quite good for tourists. It's a good way to have the old Western theme to it. So that was quite good that we did with them. So we're just kind of trying to think of fun things to do with our friends as well. We might go there as again. But there's also so Dallas has their own beers. I think there's quite a few breweries around here, and wine as well. So it wouldn't be a reunion with the friends if it didn't involve a ridiculous amount of alcohol. As I said before, we are British, so we drink an awful lot. So I think we're probably going to go to some kind of brewery tour or something, and I love a good brewery tour. We went to the Heineken experience once when we were in Amsterdam. The best bit is you see how the beer is made, and they usually give you at least 2 or 3 free glasses of beer. So that'll be fun. So we're going to do that. And also the sun will be out a bit more, so we'll be able to actually enjoy our garden. Maybe have a barbecue. Who knows? But yeah, having visitors is fun. Mainly because we get to see a bit more of where we live as well, because since we moved here, we've deliberately not done any of the touristy things or any of the fun stuff really. We've just kind of lived normally and not gone to all these things, just because we want it to be the first time when people come and visit us that we go and do that, so it's a little bit more special rather than just doing something we've already done before. So it means we get to see a little bit more of where we live as well, which is good. It's also nice to have something to look forward to as a motivator, because I've never been in the position that I'm in right now, which is that I'm not able to work or anything. I've always worked ever since, well, pretty much as soon as I left school. I, went to college and stuff, but I always worked throughout the whole time I did that. And I found sometimes, when you're not working, it's hard to find motivation for certain things, like for example, since we moved here, I've put on a few pounds. I don't know why. I think I do know why, but I've put on a few pounds, so I've decided that I should probably try and do something about it. And so I've started going to the gym and, eating a bit healthier. But I think it really, really helps the fact that my friends are visiting us within the next few weeks, because that's more of a motivator than anything, is knowing that, people are coming over, it's going to be sunny, you want to wear summer clothes. So yeah, it's nice having people coming around, because I find that's quite a good motivator. When you don't have a job, it's hard to find motivation to do certain things, even just trying to shed a few pounds. It's a lot easier when you have a goal to work towards. Although I am starting to find the gym a bit intimidating. I try to go at times where I don't think anyone else will be there. So I'll go to the gym at 11 a.m. because I think, right, no one will be there. But sometimes if I'm busy doing something else, and then I end up going at peak time, which is any time between 4 and about 8, I hate working out when people are there, just because I know full well no one's looking at me, no one gives a shit about what I'm doing, but there's just this little part of my brain that's I don't like it, because there are those people that are running really fast on the treadmill, or they're really giving it to the cross trainer, and there I am doing a 20-minute walk slightly uphill. But yeah, I try and block it out, but I usually go at unsociable hours, just so I can not feel like I'm being judged. Even though, like I say, I know that no one is looking and no one gives a shit, but I think that's kind of a part of my brain, is that I always assume that if I do anything that looks a bit stupid, everyone's going to notice and everyone is going to be like, what the fuck? It's even the tiniest thing, if I'm walking down the street and then I realise that I've forgotten something and I have to turn around and go the other way, I'll even be oh, but I don't want people to see that I've just stopped in the middle of the street, turned around and walked the other way, because it will look weird. So instead, I'll just walk the long way round and just do a loop around the whole the whole block. So yeah, I already know this about myself. I worry unnecessarily for things I really, really don't need to worry about, things that most people don't really give a shit about. But there we go, that's who I am. And over the years, I've grown to accept it now. But other than being self-depreciating, I think maybe I'll talk a little bit more about the actual build for once and talk about the house. You might notice with this speed build that I haven't put as much detail in the rooms as I usually do. I say that like I put so much detail in, and I don't really, but I've put less detail in these rooms than what I usually do. And I think it's just because it's a bigger house, so I don't really know what to do whenever I'm building. I don't build big mansions or big houses very often, just because I don't really know what to do with it. I don't like having loads and loads of open space, and this build has quite a lot. But I think I just need to embrace the open space. And yeah, this house has quite a lot of bathrooms. I think it was 4 bathrooms, which is quite a lot. But yeah. And I'd say the outside is more my dream house. The inside isn't really how I would decorate it, although I have to say the kitchen, I probably would have my house decorated the way I've done the kitchen, just because I really like the colours, and because it actually turned out quite girly. I didn't plan for it to. I think that's just kind of my default. Always end up with a really girly room. If I go into building something without any idea of what I want it to look like, it usually ends up being really pink and really as if Barbie would live there or something. But maybe that's just my own inner style coming out. But it's funny because where I live, we don't have a lot of pink at all, but I think that's mainly because my husband doesn't really want to have a really girly house, in his opinion. But yeah, the kitchen is kind of what I would like my own kitchen to look like, if I'm honest. and I ended up using this floral wallpaper, because I've said before, like, I don't think there's enough options in The Sims for wallpaper. And yeah, so this is custom content. I can't remember who made it, but it was from the Sims resource, and I really love it. I love that wallpaper, nice floral. Why not? Also, I have to say, I would love to have a bar in my own house, because I am British, which means I do drink a fair bit. I think it's like a cultural joke about the British is how much we drink. Certainly here in the States, the Americans are very familiar with this way of life that we choose, and I think we are guilty of having quite a, I'm not going to say bad, because I don't think it's bad, but obviously it's not good for your health to drink loads, is it? But I think we are kind of known for our binge drinking culture, which isn't the best. I don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying a drink, but I think, yeah, maybe we British are a little bit guilty of binge drinking a bit too often, especially on holiday. If you go to England and you see British people drinking a lot, and you think, God, that's a lot, wait till you see them on holiday. Somewhere like Magaluf or Mallorca, where there's loads of British people, you would be surprised. I've been on holidays before, and I say this like I'm also not guilty of it. I am guilty of it, but I did meet some holiday friends once, and they outdrank even me, because they literally would be like drinking a pint at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and they were staying in the same hotel as us, and I remember the hotel owners were literally shaking their heads at them as they were pouring their drink. And I think, oh, we don't represent ourselves in the best way when we're on holiday, because I feel like that's when we really play hard, ain't it? We do drink a lot, but especially on holiday. So yeah. But then if you think about it, how many times have you gone to the airport ready to go on holiday, and it's some ridiculous time, and there's this like unspoken rule with airports that time isn't really a thing. It doesn't count. Like, I don't know if it's just me, I don't think it is, but there's this unspoken rule that if we're going on holiday, like me and my friends for example, we always have a pint at the airport, and it doesn't matter what time it is, because even if you're in a taxi on the way to the airport and it's 5 a.m, by the time you've got to the terminal, and by the time you've got to the bit where they've got all the shops and the bars and things, time doesn't exist, because the place where you're going is in a different time zone anyway, so you might just decide to pretend it's that time. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things. It doesn't matter if it's 7 a.m, 8 a.m, time is like it's like the same anytime you go to an airport. When you go to an airport, whatever time it is in real life, it's not the real time, because we like to have a pint before we fly. And sometimes if you fly with certain airlines and you get free drinks, it's fair game. Again, it doesn't matter. If I'm sat here talking about my friends who who made these hotel owners cringe with their early morning drinking. Now, I haven't had a drink at like 9 o'clock in the morning when I'm on holiday, but if I'm at an airport, I will have a drink. And if I'm on a flight where drinks are free, I cannot physically be on a flight where drinks are free and not have a drink. Anyway, I'm rambling and we're getting towards the end of the video, so I will just say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And that's it. Bye.